2019, we took 3 months out to go sailing. This was the opportunity of a lifetime. Join us on our trip sailing the west coast of Scotland, the Hebrides and the Orkney Islands. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. Maybe hit that bell button to be notified of new videos. So the reason why we were in Loch Laxford in the first place is really we had aspirations towards getting out to Orkney. We managed to nudge our way out into the main loch to get mobile reception, get the weather, because there was very poor signal in Loch Laxford. So we decided that we've got all sorts of notes here about our passage making to Orkney. But yeah, it didn't quite work out, did it? So we had to find some things to do in Loch Laxford.
I think we were still in two minds about where we wanted to go on our big trip, because I definitely kind of got it in mind that I'd really like to go to Orkney, but you just never know and neither of us are kind of, desperately keen on sailing in rough conditions. So we were only going to do it if the conditions were right, and we hadn't had the best of weather forecasts in terms of good, clear, long-range forecasts. So
just looking at the forecast there's 7s in it.
We don't go anywhere in 6s and 7s.
No.
We don't go around Cape Wrath in 6s and 7s. So I think we must have hidden for a while, because looking at it in the log, basically motored out, got a weather forecast from the entrance, and then motored back in again.
Yeah, did we go back to the same Anchorage, or did we go to that alternative Anchorage?
No, we went to a different Anchorage.
That one there, Bag and
Bag Nedd Big.
Yeah.
Not sure I quite got the pronunciation of that right either.
But,
and it looks like it was a really nice little spot, because we were anchored there, and then we spotted a couple of stags on the shore.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of ruined black houses.
I noticed that it says nice craggy anchorage, no signal, and broken VHF reception.
Great when you've got bad weather.
Yeah, which is that's the problem about going to these remote places, is that the one thing you really need is a weather forecast, and it's the one thing you can't guarantee that you're going to get.
Yeah.
So we found that we had to keep motoring to the entrance of Loch Laxford to get decent long-range weather forecasts in particular.
On the next day, we decided that the weather just is too unsettled to carry on pushing on for Orkney, and so we decided to kind of explore the northwest mainland a bit more.
I mean, that was also partly because it looked amazing. The whole of what we'd seen coming across, it just invited us to explore it, didn't it? We were very taken by it.
But the other thing is that we'd also thought about our passage planning, and it was Springs.
Yeah.
So a bit too much wind and going around Cape Wrath at Springs, it just wasn't quite working out for us in terms of the passage plan. So yeah, I think we'd erred on the side of caution.
Entering the Loch Nedd.
Coming in, you've kind of got these beautiful kind of tree-lined. It feels like you're coming into sort of a river estuary. Yes, you've got this massive, great big mountain range of Quinag at the head of the valley, but there's bits of it you think, am I in Scotland or am I in Devon? I would definitely recommend going to Loch Nedd, but definitely set tripping line.
Yeah, and luckily I did. I rigged a tripping line, and I don't always rig a tripping line, but I'm glad I did in this case because there are a lot of old moorings in there and wrecks, and we managed to bag one, didn't we?
Yeah.
But luckily the tripping line worked.
We're anchored in Loch Nedd, which is absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful loch that it's got a kind of estuary feel to it with wooded hillsides either side of the loch, and it's really, really sheltered. And there's a river that flows out into it. So we've left Spearax there and come ashore. Landed at a little jetty, and there was a really helpful local guy who was getting his lobster pots ready, and it's the first time he's taking them out this season, and he said he was going to fish for prawns. Was it prawns close in and lobster and crab further out, or possibly round the other way? He was really nice and told us a bit about living around here, and helped us sort out where we could leave the dinghy. We've walked up Glen Lerag on quite a good path, but it still feels like we're just tramping across heather moorland, and there's lots of bog myrtle around the heather, and you're walking over the bog myrtle and it's got this lovely sweet smell. The views have been stunning. We've been walking up the valley, which basically heads up towards a series of lovely mountains. The most dramatic one is at the end, and that's Quinag. But before that, there's Sail Gorm, and the cliffs beneath them are just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And we've got fantastic views of them today. Came across two gorgeous lochs, one little loch and that had a little fishing boat next to it, and then that was connected up to a bigger loch that drained into it, and then we've been having a look at the waterfall that's between the two. And here we see, in his native habitat, a rare example of what I think is the Photographia lancastria. You can tell the breed from the rather doggy hat.
It's heavenly. It's so warm compared to what it's been as well. Beautiful loch and bright blue skies. Beautiful shelter from the wind. Aren't you beautiful?
Our next little outing was on the 8th of June. We've been in there a couple of days. So yeah, we headed back north. We thought we'd do a bit of a detour around Handa Island.
Handa Island, that's the bird paradise, isn't it?
There was one really tiny, slim little anchorage just off Handa Island, yeah, which if the wind was blowing just right would be a nice place to land and go ashore. Back up to Laxford. And what a shame, because I love Laxford.
We love Laxford, but I mean it's a great place just to go, but it's also a really handy place to be waiting for the weather and the tide to go around Cape Wrath.
So, where should we go today?
It's 6:37, flat calm, let's go to Cape Wrath
Oh, why not?
and then see if we can get to Orkney. It's a bit overcast but totally still, looks nice over there. I guess that's sort of east. Let's go that way. Do you fancy it?
I fancy a little jaunt around Cape Wrath.
Yes.
Deal.
Deal.
On our way.
We're on our way, leaving Loch Laxford, and we're beating to windward towards Cape Wrath, which seems all wrong on so many different levels. But it's very light winds, and shortly we'll be harding up and motoring into it, I think. But so far so good.
Light wind so far, 10 to 14-ish on the nose, unfortunately, but you can't have it all. Ooh, she's picking up. At 11:50 we were 4 nautical miles north of Cape Wrath. We could see Whitney Head and the north coast ahead of us, and lots of puffins. By tea time we were anchored in the south bay of Neakie in Loch Eriboll, which gave good shelter from the northerly swell. It's a pretty spot, with an old pier and lime kilns on an island joined to the mainland by a thin isthmus of sand and shingle. This was to be a temporary anchorage for us while we waited for the next tide to take us to Orkney. Our plan was to arrive at Hoy Sound by the start of the east-going tide, which was at 10:50 the following morning. We raised anchor at 22:20, motor sailing out of Loch Eriboll with the last of the light, dodging the lobster pot markers. Sailing through the short midsummer night felt very special. Just us and Spearax. The winds and tides were favourable and we enjoyed a leisurely sail, killing time to avoid arriving too soon at Hoy Sound. We arrived at Stromness Marina just before lunch the next day, more than 13 hours after setting off from Loch Eriboll.